Guys, welcome back. We are here yet again, and these guys are here yet again.
I know. Happy Monday. If you're listening, if you're one of the eagers that listen right on Monday morning, happy Monday. If it's later in the week, then
happy Friday.
Yeah.
Also, I just feel amazed that people actually come back and listen.
I know. It's great. We love it.
You know, I think when we started, I was like, yeah, maybe we'll have
like your mom.
2 viewers. And my mom, she's so faithful. Every episode she comments and she loves it. But no, it's just great to know that people are listening and getting something out of our episodes.
Yeah,
for sure.
And we love the feedback. All of the messages that you send to us, keep that up. We love it. We love hearing other people's takes on the topics or the guests that we have. It's been awesome.
Yeah, it has been. It has been. So yeah, guys, today we are back with another episode on friendship.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I think it was just like a requested episode just because we did obviously our story in friendship, but I don't think we by the time we got through that, it was like
we were needed a nap. We were emotionally drained.
That's right. And I just think that there can be so much more said on friendship, and especially, you know, in this day and age when males too, but definitely females crave that authentic friendship, and what does that look like? Yeah. Right? So here we are.
And I think a question that you and I both have gotten often, because you and I are both pretty social in the way that relationships are important to us. We have a big group of friends. We share some mutual friends, and then I have a ton of friends that don't necessarily know you. You have some that don't know me. Then we share some friends in common. Yeah. And people often ask both of us, how do you guys have so many friends? And you're so lucky, and which we do feel super blessed and lucky. So we thought today we'd just touch on that about what it takes to have, especially at this stage of life, midlife. Maybe you're not always meeting people at your kids' schools or whatever. How do you make friends? How do you keep friends? How do you have thriving relationships? Because your girlfriends, that's one of the most beautiful things in your life, if you can have good friends.
Good friends, absolutely. Yeah. Sorry, I'm literally distracted as you're talking, being
I was realizing my arms were just sitting out like this, so I just pulled them in.
And I just feel sometimes you're being recorded, but we're just chatting as if we're not. Yeah. And I just realized, even when I did that episode for the 700 Club, if you go back and watch the first 5 minutes, my foot is just going back and forth, shaking. I'm like, why didn't anyone tell me? I think I'm a fidgeter. Here, I often, if you guys go back and watch, it's really funny. I often just stroke the side of the mug.
Soothing yourself.
That's right. I think it is. It's almost just
I think though, you and I both are just a little bit we're not the most polished gals, you know?
Just we're just blonde. Just a little blonde ditzy.
True. We're just, you get what you get here on the Sunny Side.
It's true. It's true. And I think we just don't care.
No, we don't. And we love that you guys don't care, that you just love us anyways. Just
you
how
love
we
us
are.
anyways, even our crazy laughing fits and all.
Yeah,
I'm hoping that today we get another good laughing fit in there.
Sometimes we have to cut them out because they're too long. It's okay, this is annoying because we just really can't pull it together.
And it's usually me, because as you're speaking, sometimes my mind is going.
But then as soon as you start laughing, then I'm done. I can't even keep going. I'm just that's great.
It's true, but here we are. Yeah. Anyways, back to friendship.
Yeah.
Where do you want to begin?
Well, I think, when we received that feedback, I thought, sometimes you just think it's normal. Yes. And then you're this is a huge blessing. Not everybody has even one super good close friend, let alone if you're fortunate enough to have a group of girlfriends who just love you and support you and are there for you, especially once you've had long-term. I know you're like this in me. I have some friends that I've known literally since I was 4 or 5. And it's so you've lived your whole life together. Nobody aside from your immediate family even knows you as well as some of these friendships. Yeah. And then you have newer friendships, but they're still rich and beautiful in their own way, and how you maintain that. So why do you think that a lot of women struggle with friendships? What do you think the root of that is?
Yeah, I would say vulnerability would be top, right? Yeah. Because a lot of us say that we want that, but we're not going to give it. Yeah. We want someone to be be vulnerable with me, share your heart, tell me what you're going through, but then we don't want to share it because then we feel exposed. Yeah. Right? And so I often think with my lifelong girlfriends that we've literally all been friends since grade 8, right? Mm-hmm. We're 20, almost 25 years. Mm-hmm. There's a group of us, right? And so I think that for us, it comes easy because we've done life together, literally through teenage years, through youth group years, through marriages, second marriages, divorces, like you name it. And so vulnerability is almost easier because you're forced in a way.
Yeah.
And we all just...
Right, it's hard to keep secrets when you've known someone through their like childhood. And
100%. Half the time something will come out and I'm like, I forgot about that, guys. They're like, well, Leah, we did not.
Yeah, we did not.
Usually it's surrounding men and my wayward days.
And they were like, creating a testimony for yourself.
When I was creating a testimony, they'd be like, Leah, did you forget about this person and this person? And I'd be like, yeah, I did, because I blocked it out of my brain. But thank you so much for bringing it back. But no, like that vulnerable like sense. And then you've got like newer friendships where like you have to build that. And I would say even different, how do I word this? Like even different views or whatever, right? Yeah. Like how can you be in a friendship with somebody that might have different views as you? Because it works. Yeah. But are you able to still be yourself? Yeah. And can you like be vulnerable enough to be like, oh, I disagree with that. Yeah. But I love you. Yeah. Right? Yeah. I'm just kind of like agree to. I think that's so smart. And it's like touches on like, I think a key is like the expectations you have on people and in friendships. And I was talking to my daughter about this, like, I think like last year, because she was experiencing some like friendship questions or whatever. And I was just saying to her, like, something I learned a long time ago that I think is so important is like, there's different kinds of friends and it's okay to identify who they are to you and then put them in that category and just accept it and love it for what it is. Yes. Like there's some friends that you're super close to, probably like your lifelong girlfriends. Yep. They're like your ride or dies. They have your back. They know you. You could go to them for anything. They know how to comfort you. They know how to pull you out of a slump, all that kind of stuff. Then you might have people that are like, maybe like you're more their friend than they are to you. Like you can see that they need a friend and you can be a friend, but your expectation isn't that they're going to invest as much back because maybe they can and whatever they're going through, that stage of life, but you don't expect it from them. Right. So then you can have that friendship. Yep. And then I think there's people that are just more like casual, like you love them, you see them, you hang out here and there. But same thing, the expectation isn't like, we're going to talk every day, we're going to call each other every week. And you just kind of like, when you see them. And once you know who each person is to you, and then the expectation going is different for everybody. Yeah. So you're not getting hurt and offended if somebody isn't as attentive to you in your friendship. If you're like, well, you're not like my best friend, you're kind of like that next layer out, and that's okay. Yeah. Right? Yeah, absolutely. But, you know. And I think navigating, you know, even teaching our kids from a young age that it is okay to have like multiple best friends. Totally. Right? Yes, like I have that. Yeah. Yeah. And like, it's funny because Eden will often, you know, say to me, well, this is my best friend and this is my best friend, but like, I can't have more best friends. And, but then, and it's funny, she almost wants to keep her two best friends like away from each other because she's worried that like they'll become best friends and she's odd man out. No, the opposite. Like she's worried that they are going to fight over her. Like almost like be protective of her more so. Well, no, she's my best friend. And part of that's just being 13 and navigating life. But it's teaching her as you grow in your relationships, like you can have multiple best friends. And I want my best friends to meet my other best friends. And I want everyone to be friends. Yes, like so everyone always asks, like, what do you want for your birthday every year? Or what do you want? Like, if you could do one thing, I'm like, I want all of my friends in one room. Yeah. That's all I ever want. Because my friends are so important to me that I'm like, I want everyone to meet everyone and be so happy. It's funny because the other night I was out with some of my girlfriends who none of them know you. There's like 4 of them. And we were celebrating another friend's birthday. Okay. And they were talking about the podcast and whatever. And they were like, we want to meet Leah. Next time you go, can you bring Leah? We feel like we know her because you're on the podcast and she'd be so funny. And I'm like, yeah, she like you guys. And because I know you, I'm like, you would love her and she would love you. I'm like, well, maybe one day, you're like the little, I'll just bring as a little celebrity, like, here's Leah. Here's Leah, yes. Then no pressure. You just have to meet up to the expectation to go to the mall, buys cute outfit, gets hair done, nails done. Yeah, it's on point, super fun, super funny. It's like meeting a guy for the first date. Right, except totally. It'll be literally, I walk into a room and I check out the women before I check out the men. Oh, yeah. Well, I don't check out men because I'm married. Yeah, right. But you know what I mean? Like, even like from the time I was young, like you walk in to be like, oh, like what's that person wearing or whatever. And the same goes for you. Like even my friends that may have had a little bit of an issue with you for a little while there.
It's like you had them hate me. Now you're trying to make them love me. You're like, we got to turn this. You're like, we don't hate.
That's right. They never hated you. For the record, I just think they, were very protective of me.
Right, of course. As they should be. They're your best friends.
Yes. Yeah. But it's funny because now they watch it and they're like, would love Pam. Like, we need to like get together with her. Like, I feel like she's got so much wisdom and insight and I want to be her friend. And I'm like, you do want to be her friend. Like,
so we need to have a giant party. I'll bring all of my friends. Party. You bring all of your friends and we'll just smash them together.
Giant pool party in your backyard.
Okay.
Done.
Let's do it.
Okay. Like, friendship really is such a beautiful thing. And there are different seasons. I love that saying where it's like, you will have friends for a reason, for a season, and friends for a lifetime.
Yes.
And I do believe that's very true. I've had friends that have come and gone into my life for seasons.
Yeah.
And that often feels weird, especially when you can go in really strong.
Yeah.
Alan often says, people that come into your life very quickly often leave very quickly. Like almost that love bombing. So like you have different friends that come into your life for like different seasons. And I think there's times where you meet somebody and you think, oh, this person's going to be a lifelong friend. And you just like, no. Right. And I think I have never really struggled with female friendships for whatever reason. I'm convinced that my mom prayed that over me as a child and was like, Lord, just let Leah never struggle in this area.
Okay. But no, hold on. I know why you don't struggle with, because you're a really good friend, Leah.
Well,
that's why you don't struggle with friendships. You are the kind of friend that anyone would want. You are very kind, loving, you're there for your friends, and you are probably one of the least judgmental people. I've thought of that of you so many times with things. I'm like, I think anyone could tell you anything and you would never look down on them for it.
No.
Someone could do the worst thing and you would just be like, okay. Like you would be honest about what you think, but you would still love them.
Yes.
And I think that is why you obviously your mom's prayers too, but you're a really good friend. It's not just like an accident. Like, why would, it's like, and people are drawn to you because they want someone of that kind of quality who loves and cares and invests in a relationship. And because you bring that, that's why you have a ton of friends. It's no surprise to me why you have a lot of friends.
Yeah, and I would say like being like intentional. Like that is like
you're very intentional.
But I think that is why you and I even clip.
Yeah.
Because you are the same way. Like you just are from day dot. Like and we bring different things to the friendship. Boy, where are you going with this? You're laughing.
What's day dot?
Like day dot. Like day one.
Oh. Yeah, but why is it a dot?
Day dot. I don't know. I've been hanging out with Chloe too much.
Okay.
Maybe it's like a New Zealander thing. Okay. She'll be like, Chloe, from day dot.
Okay, day dot.
Maybe I just picked up a lingo I didn't even know. Now I just start talking in
like,
New Zealand accent.
Like, is that Toronto slang? Cole's always
Must
like,
be. Maybe
day
it
dot.
is.
Maybe. Okay.
Maybe it's Toronto, not even New Zealand.
Okay, so from day dot.
From day dot. Yep. You and I just clicked on that, and I just remember you being so intense. Like even when like somebody's going through something, like I remember being sick and you just bringing over. Like you are very good at like being the helper in a friendship. Just if somebody's in need, you're there. You're bringing things, dropping off soup, or if somebody needs a Disney themed something, you're at the store looking for it. You are there. You are the Disney queen. But like
if it has to do with Disney, I'm on board.
You're on it. You're like, even if you're not my friend, I am there. 100%. But you just are like you are always like very intentional. So I think even with our friendship, like when I met you, I was like, oh, we are going to be friends for a lifetime. Like we just will. And then obviously with everything we went through, that period of time felt disheartening because I was like, man, like, there's so much lost time there that, you and I will even say, sometimes I talk to you and I'm like, oh, right, you wouldn't know that because there was a big chunk of time, right? But I think like being intentional and being okay to like tell a friend you messed up or you didn't mean that. Like, or
that's so true. Being like humble and honest. That's such a good point.
Which comes back to vulnerability. Yeah. Like when you can apologize and say you're sorry for, the way that you've acted in a friendship or for something you might have said. Here's the thing. All my friends will say to me, Leah, if we need like a harsh dose of like no sugarcoating, we're coming to you. Because I am not a sugarcoater. Like even amongst this, I have a few friends going through divorce and they'll be like, I'm calling you because I need you to shoot it to me straight. Yeah. And they're like, tell me it gets easier. And I'm like, you're nuts.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Like,
it's true.
It just doesn't. So even on this podcast, like you will probably hear some like brassness or harshness that comes out of me. And that's literally, though, it comes from a place of love, that I just am like, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and be like, oh, what you're doing in that relationship, that makes sense. Or like, I don't want you to sit in your negativity. I don't want you to stay stuck in like, oh, woe is me victim mentality.
Yeah. And you're good at that balance. Like, you are direct, but I feel like it's always clear that it's from a place of love. Right. It doesn't feel like it's from judgment,
right?
Or that you're just being like biatchy or whatever. Like I don't know. I like it.
I mean,
you know, you're just like, you genuinely have the best interest of the person. So then it's easier to take. It's like, you can tell when someone's just being snarky or they're being judgy or looking down on you. Then it's like, you can't receive the feedback. Yeah, but I feel like when you give like feedback, even if it's very direct, it's you just have a good way of doing it where,
sometimes,
well, and I think it's like, you have the chips in the bank. Like, you have loved people so much up to this point, just as a friend, that when it comes time to give hard feedback, people can receive it because I already know that you love me. I already know that you're in my corner, and you're only saying it because you love me, right? Yeah. So it's just, it's finding a way to create that bond with somebody that allows you to have hard conversations, and it's safe. Because if someone just comes in as blunt and you don't have no like relationship with them, you're just like, who are you to say that to me? Right?
Exactly. Yeah. And I think it's just getting to know people's hearts. That's the biggest thing, because I know that I can come across, and this is my own insecurity. Like, people will often say like, you come across so confident, and I'm like, it's actually like the opposite. Like, I struggle with that. Like, I've had to work very hard to become that person. And so oftentimes, quite literally, people have met me, like, even through the church world, I would say more so, like at our previous church that we were at, there was a bunch of people that literally were just like, oh, we thought you hated us, or that you were like the biggest bitch in the world. And I was like, okay, well, that's lovely. And they're like, no, like, Leah, like, we literally, like, you would give us the death stare. And I'm like, okay, well, I didn't A, mean to, and B, it's like my own insecurity. But they're like, but then like we got to know you, and we're like, like, you were not like that. Yeah. But like, I do have to still work to this day on coming across, because I don't do well with small talk. So like in lobbies or like anything like that, because that's not what I crave in friendships. I crave deep, intentional friendships. So something like that, I would come across as like,
right, because you might just say a joke that's a little off color,
a little brass, and people are going to be like, okay, we're sunny side, Leah. Yeah, but so I just think like showing up in friendship and being authentically you, and not being scared of who you are and what you bring to the table.
Yeah. And I think an important thing too is like, and I think you're good at this too, is like genuinely being happy for your friend for whatever. There's so many times, especially when I talk to people who will say things like, I struggle with friendships and it's so hard. Sometimes I can, if I know them, sometimes in my head I'm like, I can understand how that could happen for you, because something I've noticed, there's a lot of, especially women, who, when you're friends with somebody, kind of like what even Eden's just figuring out now, like, you see they have other friends, and it's, you feel jealous or threatened, instead of, like, for me, if my friends have another friend who does something for them, or they do something, even if I'm not there, even if part of me is like, oh, I wish I could have been there. But right away I try to step out and be like, but I'm so happy they got to do that. And I'm not upset that I was left out or not. I'm actually genuinely happy for them. Or if they get an, acknowledgement, or they get an opportunity that I don't get, I'm not going to look at it like, well, how come they got it? That's not being a good friend. Yeah. A good friend is like, I'm so happy for you that I hope that you have 100 other friends, and I'm secure enough in our friendship that you could have friends, and I'm not going to feel threatened. I'm not going to feel jealous. And I think that's so important. I think women often struggle with your own self-confidence within your friendship, where you hold on so tight, you almost smother somebody. And then I see women all the time, and I know I've done it in my own life too, like, where you're almost your own worst enemy. You sabotage a good thing because of your own insecurity or whatever. You lash out at somebody, you get mad at them, you're offended, and then you're like, I'm not talking to them. Well, you've just ruined a beautiful friendship, instead of being able to work through that little thing and move forward. Jealousy
will kill and destroy any friendship.
Say it again. Say it again, Leah.
Right?
That's
it
so
really
true.
will. Jealousy will kill and destroy any friendship. And so will holding an offense.
Yes.
Like those things have to go, right?
And be easy to be offended. There's nothing more exhausting. 100%. That's the thing. If you're having trouble keeping friends, one tip I would ask
is look in the mirror.
Look totally and be self-aware and honest with yourself. Are you somebody who's easy to be friends with, or are you difficult? Are you the person who people have to walk on eggshells because you're offended and upset by every little thing, and you make a big deal about everything, and you're constantly having confrontations? We believe, for sure, have the hard conversations, but if it's constant, one after the other, people get exhausted by that. And that's not being a good friend. Let things go. Be easygoing. If something upsets you a little bit, just a little bit like, is this a huge deal though? And if it's not, let it roll off your back. If it's a big deal, talk about it.
Have the hard conversation.
Totally. But it's like if
rather
you
than
just
build resentment.
And it's like if you 3 days ago had a conversation and then 2 days before that, it's like, girl, you're out. You got to sit it out for a bit. Take a time out on the confrontations. You got to let it go and be easygoing. Because sometimes people are so difficult and then they're like, I don't know why I can't keep friends. And you're like, well,
I think I know.
Yeah. You're like, it's really hard to have a friendship with somebody who's constantly combative, right?
Yeah, and you can't. And you honestly need to, have the hard conversations, but then look in the mirror and go, okay, like, where is this my issue, right? Like, a good intentional friendship takes self-awareness, which is the hardest thing because no one wants to truly look in the mirror and go, what can I do different, right? And just understanding that, like, different seasons mean different things, right? Like, even, for me, there is times where, and I'm trying to say this word doesn't come across like, not cocky, but like, I often joke and Alan gets so mad at me because he's like, you realize how cocky you sound? I'm like, but I don't mean it in a cocky way, but I'm just like, I actually don't know if I can handle another friend being in my life. I don't know if I actually have the capacity. Like,
totally.
Because for me, when you're my friend, oh baby, like I am all in. Like, I am. We're all in this together. Like we are in the thick of it. We are whatever. So because of that, and I fall hard and I fall quick. And so, and I want to make time for everyone. But I can't do that at the expense of my own life, my family, all these things. So it's like creating safeguards so that we don't just let anybody in, and feeling okay with that as well. Like without worrying about somebody being offended. Right? And that comes back to the offended piece is like, how can we live our life unoffended, even amongst friendships or whatever, right? Like kind of like you were saying too, like if somebody does something for another friend, like you genuinely be happy for them. The moment you're like, oh, I wish that was for me, little seeds of resentment start to build up. And before you know it, you've like put in a post, and then you start building a fence. In your own friendship. And you don't even realize that you're the one putting the post in, but you're blaming the other person instead of having the hard conversations. And I think even you and I learned that, like had we had the hard conversation, you know what I mean? Like I was too angry.
And I was too cowardly. So
right,
like combo.
Whatever. It was both and, right? And so I think had I let my pride down and my anger down and my offense down, maybe we could have had the conversation way sooner. Right? And so I just think that's a beautiful thing. And to know that like you can get through hard things in friendship.
Especially like I think for you and I, the thing that worked in our favor is like there was so much goodness there at the foundation. So then even though there was a rocky road, you and I both had a desire to get back to like the friendship we had that was so fulfilling and so rich. And so that's the thing, like you can weather storms with your friends if you have that foundation. Like if you're constantly pouring into your relationship with each other, if you do hit a bump in the road, it's way easier to get through that because you have this solid foundation, right?
Where newer friendships, this is what comes to mind. If you're having problems with newer friendships, even that are only like 2 years old or last 3, and you start having problems, to me, that's like a red flag. Like I'm like, if you can't,
there should be like some honeymoon period where you're just
like if you're already struggling, like I don't know, I'm kind of like take a break from that because like we could get through it because we had years and years and years of a foundation where I'm like, oh, I want to get back to that. But if you're brand new into a friendship where you're like you're already struggling, it's like it's not worth it.
No. And that's okay. Like, people are compatible with who they're compatible. There are some people that you're going to be more of like an acquaintance with, but you're like 30 minutes with you and I'm good. Like, I can't take much more of this church. And sometimes it's just a personality clash. It's not that one person's a bad person or not. And that's okay. Yeah. Like, if there's people that you don't click with, you don't have to try to force this friendship that's not fulfilling for either of you. Yeah. Find the people that you click with and that friendship comes easy. Yes. And if there comes a point where friendship's not easy with anyone, that's where then you got to be like, maybe I'm the common denominator here, right? And just be like, is there something that I can, and like going into it, like, I think so many people go into friendships with like, what I can get. Like, I want a friend because I want someone to instead of going to the friendship with like, how can I be the kind of friend that I would want? And then just naturally, if you meet the right kind of person, they're going to just reciprocate that naturally. Yes. But if you're always going in like, well, I need support and I wanted to call and how come they weren't there and they didn't come to me and they didn't prioritize me? It's like, well, hold on a second. Like, that's the wrong mentality. Come in being like literally no strings attached. Like, I'm going to be there for you and love you, even if you don't do it for me. I'm not doing it to get from you. I'm just doing it. Yeah. And then a healthy friendship, it will just naturally be reciprocated. Yes. Right. Yes. And then you can build something beautiful. If you also are in a relationship where you're always giving and the other person never initiates like giving back. Yeah. And I don't just mean giving things. I mean like emotional support and time, everything. Text, support, encouragement, whatever. Then maybe that's not the person for you.
Absolutely.
You know?
And know that there's different seasons. So like if you're having to give more to a friend for a season and that's not normal, that's okay. Yes. They're obviously going through something. Yeah. And I would say like practically, if you're looking on how to build friends, is like find people that are in similar life stages and even advanced, like that can pour into you as well. But like spinning it to be like, what do I need to do? Or like, how can I like stop looking for a friend and start thinking, how can I be a friend?
Yeah. The best friendships start with giving. Yeah. You have to be, it's like a bank account. Like, you can't take from the bank until you've deposited a significant amount into the bank. Yeah. You have to have a friendship bank. You have to deposit. Yeah. And then you can withdraw, right? But you can't just be like, day one or week one, I want this from our friends. Yes. Like, you're not there yet. Yeah. And I think like even with young girls, we don't like even talk about this a lot. I talk about this a lot with my daughter about friendships and just relationships in general, like how to have healthy ones, how to have boundaries. What does this friendship look like and mean to you? What is that one? Who can you let go of? Who should you keep close? Like, because I think if you don't develop those skills early, you can become like maybe our age where you're still struggling with friendships. And it's only because maybe you don't know the foundations of how to build and keep good friendships. And
I think for you and I, it comes easier because we are in like the church world and it's very easy to build.
Yeah. There's a big community of people.
Friendship where you can pull from other people. So that would be a big practical tip I'd tell people is like, find yourself a community, whatever that looks like. Yeah. Exercise classes comes to the top of my mind. Yeah. Paint nights, like if it's not within the church context, like there's a million ways to meet friends. Yeah.
Even your neighbors, like just literally go next door and be like, hey, this might be kind of awkward, but like, I made some cookies. You want some or something to like break the ice or no?
But that's you. That's you. You would though.
Like my neighbors.
You're so good. But I'm saying like you're so good. That's where my insecurity would be. Like what you're saying is not wrong. Yeah. My insecurity would be like,
So do whatever's comfortable for you.
Absolutely.
I'm always like baked goods. Like hi.
And you're so good with that. Like and to be like, hi, do you want to come over for like a swim? Like you would be so good at that. Where I would be like, ooh, like you're just better at that than me. I think you might love people more or something. I don't know.
I'm just like, and I think that's smart to like find the niche that you're good at. Like what, and you know what's funny? It's like, I think that we all instinctively know what to do. Even if you think you don't know, how many times do you see someone know someone and you're like, oh, I wonder how they're doing. We'll text them that. Yeah. Or like, oh, like their husband went out of town. Oh, I wonder if they need help with their kids. But like, well, I'll just let them ask. No, offer that. Yeah. Like, oh, somebody's sick. Oh, maybe I should drop off some like ginger ale and Tylenol on their porch or whatever. Like, but it's like you think of things, but you don't do them. So
do it.
To me, it's like, actually do it. Like, say to yourself, I'm going to do the thing that's, even if it's just sending a text, like, how are you? Or I'm thinking about you today or whatever. Yeah. Right?
Do the action. Don't just like think about it, or don't just sit in it, right? It's like, do the action and like, and make an effort to like find the friends, right? Like when people just sit there and like, well, I don't really have any friends and it's really hard to build friendship. I'm like, join a running club. Like, literally,
and then
talk,
anything. Like, as you're doing, be like, hey, I'm Pam, or I'm Leah. Like, just it is, because it does take a little bit of work. And that awkward, it's only awkward. When I used to work at the church and I used to run all the kids programming, and I used to have the same line that I used with kids when it was their first week coming in, and they'd look at this room with like all these kids they don't know, and it feels like so everyone's friends, and I'm the new one. And they would be kind of like clinging to their mom, like, oh, and I'd say, oh, come in. And I would always just be honest with them. I'd say, it is only uncomfortable for this first day. This first day, it's hard and it's awkward. But after today, you're going to feel so much better. Totally. And they'd be like, okay. And it's just like, call up. But that's how it is. Your first few minutes meeting somebody, it's awkward and hard. But push yourself. Do it if you're really wanting friends. If you don't care, then don't bother. But we do have the comments all the time, like, how do you guys have friends? How do you have so many friends? But it takes work. It's not just like, we're like, we don't know. These people just showed up in our life. It's like intentionality is huge. And like just understanding different seasons people are in. And that's a huge one to be like, they're really busy. This has nothing to do with me. I feel like I'm in that season. Like I feel like before I was working full time, when I was home with my kids, I had so much more time to kind of go the extra mile and do things for people. And now I'm just like, these same people I love, and it's like I have to put in so much effort to try to even just like send the text or check in, or it's like, okay, I'm dropping this kid off here, I'm picking this, I have 15 minutes, I'm going to call this person. Because I want to touch base, but I don't have the time. And sometimes I feel bad. Like I'm not the kind of friend I want to be, or maybe even that I used to be. And I'm just like, but you're true friends, but understand, like it's a seasonal thing right now, right? It's like to not be negative about your friends that like might not have the time right now in this season, where like, because I'm like, right now I feel like I'm running around with like a chicken with no head half the time. When my husband's traveling, then I got to take kids to this sport and this thing and this thing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have an hour here. Or it might look like I have more time for other friends, but it's like sometimes it's you know, like for instance, you know, my Hamilton girlfriends, there's a group of us. And it used to always be me that would plan something. It would be like, okay, let's get something in the calendar, And now they just know like my headspace. I can't even, it's them. They're like, okay. Let's do it this day. And so what we do is a very practical thing. At every girls' night, we will lock in the next girls' night and we'll put it in our calendars. Because I think there's multiple of us getting it in like when we all have families, we all have different things. It's hard to try and find a date, but we'll lock it in, you know, when we're all together. But it's just understanding different people's seasons of busyness. And it's nothing to do with you. No. It's just and sometimes seasonal. You just invest like what you can. Like even I know I had a friend who was like, you're so busy and stuff, which I am. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm trying not to be. And then she actually made a comment because she would see that we post like walking together. And she was like, oh, I just feel so jealous because I just feel like you're just walking with Leah. I was like, yeah, but do you know what this looks like? It's like Lee and I are like, okay, I'm going to drop the kids off at 8:45 and then I have to be at work at 10. And then you're like, yeah, and I have this appointment at 10:30. And I'm like, okay, I'll drop them. I'll come. We'll walk for 45 minutes. And then, and that's what it is. It's like a 45-minute walk. And then we're off to the race. It's not like all day. We're just like, I wish, but we're not this like leisurely. We're literally like buzzing in, touching base, and then off we go, you know? But I think especially with online, it looks like, oh, they just spent the day together. I'm like, no, I was like there and back by like 9:45 a.m. Like, right? Like it's just true. But it's funny too, like not like, seeing things and not overly, because women were so good at making a narrative that doesn't exist and seeing something someone post online and be like, they did this thing and they're so close, when really you're like, that's not what happened at all. It's true. It's true. And understanding like, it's like almost the same thing, just understanding that like, okay, what you see and what's actually happening is the truth. And going back to like, if you're in a friendship, like, what is that person's heart? Like, is it that they don't have the time for you? No, you know that. Sorry. Is it that they don't want to make the time for you? No. It's that
they literally can't make the time for you right now, or they can't text back. So it's going back to like that foundation, and what is our foundation built on, right? And how do we move forward in this? And it's saying like, hey, Pam, or hey, Leah, I feel like you're really dropping the ball these days, and I just really want to. And
totally.
And then us not being offended at that, right? Not being and to like have those conversations. You know, funny enough, it's here. I said before camera, I said, Pam. Anyways, we'll talk about it on camera, but it wasn't anything you did. I was in my own head when you had texted me on last week sometime and said, hey, I want to talk about something about the podcast. Yeah. And you're like, and I'll call you.
Yeah, and then I didn't.
And then you didn't call, and you just got busy. And I understood it 100%.
Yeah.
But I think because of our past.
Right, you're like, she's pieced out on me again.
Well, I didn't go that extreme.
Right. Yeah, you're like.
But my mind, like I was self-aware enough to go. Because I was just in my head. I was like, did I say something? Did I do something? I was like, no, Leah, like 100% she's just busy. Yeah. But because of like, so if you ever have an issue in a friendship, just to be like, hey, go back to like, and again, I don't even expect you to be like, hey, everything is okay, because that's weird and I don't need that. Yeah. But just to have like, I had to be like, oh, okay, no, like she's literally just busy. But because of, what do you call it, a riff or whatever between us, that was my first instinct, was the trauma response, to be like, oh no, what's happening? Yeah. What's happening, right? Yes. But and to have grace in that. And I had to literally in myself be like, everything's okay. Yeah. And sure, I'm sure sometimes in friendships it's not okay. Yeah. And whatever. Right. It was legitimately that you were like, I'll call you, and then you just got busy or whatever. And that's okay. Yeah. That's okay. That happens. But I had to be self-aware enough to know, I'm not just going to like. Yeah, and you're like, I'm going to stop that narrative. I'm not going to run down that worst case scenario. I'm just going to stop until I know. Well, and it's good, I think, to be honest too with like your limitations, because even that, like I'm trying so hard to get better at like responding, but I've been chronically terrible with like replying to emails, replying to phone. I just feel like, I don't know. I don't know what is wrong with me. It's so overwhelming to me when I get all these messages and texts. And I think it's because I want to reply back in this complete good way, not just like a quick thing, but I should almost just do a quick thing, because then you don't have time, then it falls to the bottom. But I had this newer friend a couple of years that I was making, her and I were becoming like newer friends, and I really loved her. And she's like very good with like, you know, you text her immediate back. You call her, and I don't know how she does it. She's so busy. She's all these kids. She's a career woman. I'm like, you were so on the ball. Yeah. And a couple times like she would text me and I wouldn't reply back for like a little bit. And she was getting like really hurt by it and stuff. And I was just honest with her. I said, listen, I love you. Yeah. I want you to know that. Yeah. My texting speed is zero reflection of how I feel about you. Yes. And either you can handle that or you can't. Because I'm trying to change it, but I'm going to always disappoint you. Yeah. I'm not a good quick texter backer. 100%. And I said, and you are, and I see that. And so I can see how that's frustrating. But the bonus in that is that when I'm with you, I'm with you. Like, I'm not the friend who's on my phone. Yes. Well, I'm like, because I'm replying to somebody else. But the negative is that when I'm with somebody else and you're texting me, my attention's to them. Yep. So then and she was kind of like, oh, okay. And then her and I have been good from that. And she'll make jokes that she's like, I text you, but I wouldn't get worried if 48 hours hasn't passed. Yeah, exactly. And I could try, because also I know I have a responsibility to be diligent with my replying. But it's just good, like, just to have that honest conversation and to set that expectation. And that's just different communication methods. Like, I was listening to a podcast last week and they were talking about that. And the guy was saying, you know, to his daughter, like, you're not always great at texting back, but you're super intentional when we're together. Yeah. Right? And I think those things go hand in hand. They do. Yeah. And so it's having those conversations to be like, texting or emailing or replying or phone calls might not be your best communication with people, but when you're with them, you're with them. Right. Right? Yeah. And when you're there, you're there. And so it's just understanding that. Yeah. And for you and I'm like, because we had that longevity and whatever, I'm like, oh, I know, but your mind wants to play tricks on you. Totally. And so that's why you as the friend have to be like, I need to settle down, or I need to, or whatever. Yeah. And if it's in any other context, if you can't handle it, then you walk. Yeah. You and I don't have that privilege, or else Sunny Side goes away. No, we gotta work it out. We gotta work it out maybe with boxing gloves if we ever get really mad at each other. No, you and I are so different in so many ways. Like, so alike in so
Whoa.
You're like,
that never crossed my mind to physically fight you. But here you are just like imagining getting your frustration out on me. Like, yeah, just pummel her. You didn't return my call.
I don't really mean like boxing each other, but like boxing gloves with like a...
Oh, like a bag. Oh, okay.
Like and just like take it out, but with each other.
Boxing each other. Like what? Okay, I'll make sure. I'll be like, you calling. I'll be like, gotta call Leah.
Yeah.
Right back.
It's Leah. Make sure I call.
Punch me in the face.
No, but I like just meant like together, but
like a boxing class.
Yeah, sorry. You and I have to. We have no choice.
Yeah. That's good.
We could perfect. It's like a business and a friendship, right? I mean, they do say don't mix business and pleasure.
You're like, well, here we go. If you ever see like one empty chair,
that's right.
1 week,
I for sure kicked you to the curb.
Or I'm here with the black eye. Leah got her boxing gloves out.
It's like, yeah, it's true. Oh. But like friendship, I don't know. I just think it is something that females crave so much. And it can be the most like sought after thing, but yet so difficult to like retain.
Yeah. It's a lot
but
of
yet
work.
not. Like it's there's so many simple things that you can do to like maintain friendship and to be a friend instead of wanting a friend.
Yes. And that'll just come. I think that's so smart. Like the main takeaway is like, just if you're having trouble with friendships, find a couple people or even one person to start and say, I'm going to be a friend to them.
Yeah.
And don't worry about what you get in return. And then that will just come naturally. Just like, I'm going to be the friend.
Yeah.
I'm going to, and it'll be hard at first because it's like exercising a muscle. Like what you were saying, right? Like, I think you were easy to like quick to be able to get past the like insecurity of like, why didn't you call me back?
Yes.
But you exercise that muscle of like, no.
Yeah. Yes.
She probably just got busy. But it takes a while. And it's okay if that's really hard for you at first. Keep doing it.
Yeah.
And after a few months, you're going to be like, oh yeah, I can let stuff roll off my back. I'm not going to get offended. I'm not going to freak out. I'm not going to get mad at them. I'm not going to have these expectations that are crazy. But if you've been used to operating that way, it'll take time to like relearn a different way of relating to people.
Absolutely. And that jealousy piece has to go. Like
totally.
I have no time for that, my friendships. Like, I mean, we joke, you know, my group of Hamilton girls and I, a few of them, obviously, like everyone has other friends.
Yeah.
But one in specific has like another kind of group of friends, and we always joke and we're like, oh, you're going out with them. It's just become this joke. Or if any one of us say like, what are you doing this weekend? They're like, oh, I have plans with like whatever. So if I was like, oh, I have plans with Pam, I'm like, Pam.
Right.
But it's like, but it's a joke. And it's become funny when it's like, when I hear that my best friend has other best friends. Yeah. There's tons of memes all over the internet because it's a thing. Yeah. But it's like, it's meant to be funny. It's not meant to be serious.
Right.
It's not meant to be like, we actually hate that you have other friends.
Right.
No.
That's when it becomes a problem. If you're like jealous of your friend's friend, it's like, no, you should want your friend to have all the friends and all the support and all the love. And because that's the thing, we can't be there for everybody all 100%. The time. So it's actually great if your friend has other friends.
Yes.
Because there's times when you won't be able to be there for them, but then you don't want them to have no one, right? Like you want them to have somebody else.
Friends are like different. Like I just think even amongst my group of friends, like there's friends that, there's a couple of friends that I talk to every day by phone. But then some of my other best friends in the whole world won't pick up the phone unless it's an emergency. They will only text. Yeah. And then there's friends that don't do either and only want to meet in person. Yeah. And so friendship looks different for every person too.
And imagine if you were like, well, no, you have to always meet me in person. You have to, it's like, but the reason your friendships work is because you have the grace and maturity to see these are different and they're beautiful in their own way. And I'm not going to expect the texter to want to call. I'm not going to expect the caller to want to sit and have a coffee. Yeah. Like, and just to manage your expectations, I think is such a huge thing too with people. And like, just
that's huge.
Be easy on each other. Like, don't be so rigid with like, well, they, and then it's like, okay. So we're all
the moment
doing
you put
expectations.
Yes. And the moment you put expectations on something, that's where resentment can build because of unmet expectations that they didn't even know that you had. Yeah. Unless you're talking about it. And then if you are, that's a totally different situation. But it's like, how can you do that? Like it's like, how can you go on vacation with friends? The easiest way would be a whole lot of no expectations.
Yes. Totally.
Because the moment I think there are some friends that I even have that I couldn't vacation with them.
100. Yeah, it's like I always say that. I'm like, I love you, but I would never go on a trip.
Yeah, because I just couldn't because we are so different. Like,
or there's people I feel like I could like. I have one friend I like always talk about like moving into her backyard. I'm like, what if I just built a tiny home? Because I'm like, I feel like I could spend every day all day with her because she's just such we have a very easy friendship, right?
Yes,
but there's some people that. Yeah, and that's okay too. And it's okay to even if you can joke like that, to be like, I love you, but I would never do X, Y, Z with you. Totally. And vice versa, they might feel the same about you. Like, I love you, but I don't want to do
this with you.
Like, totally.
Like, you love me, but you don't want to box with me.
No, I don't want to fight you because I feel like I'd be like done in 1 second. Bam,
don't mess with me, Bam.
Just be like, crying in the corner.
It's true, but it's just finding that balance of like, and really dying to yourself and things that you might want to do in your friendship to like enjoy something somebody else wants to do, even if you hate it.
Yeah, totally.
Like,
well, there's this Bible verse that I love, and this is a little out of context, but it's basically talks about like if a man compels you to walk a mile, walk with him too. And like I think the context of that in like a brief summer is basically like the soldiers at that time would have all their gear and stuff, and then when they would come across somebody like of lower class than them on the streets, who's basically their enemy too, right? They could by law compel them to carry their gear for a mile so that they could have relief and like have a break.
Right.
And of course, the people who are down here don't like to be told to do that.
Absolutely.
But then I think that idea in the Bible of like, not only will you, with a servant's heart, carry their stuff a mile, go for them too. Like go the extra mile, right? And that's even where that saying, go the extra mile, comes from, is like from that parable in the Bible, right? And I love just the mindset of that, to be like, even if something's hard, exactly what you said, do it anyways. Sacrifice. If you don't feel like you have time, like the more you give in that way in a friendship, the more beautiful that friendship is going to be.
And the Bible is very clear on friendship. Even as you're saying that, I'm thinking about Moses and Aaron. And when Moses' arms grew weary, Aaron held them up for him. Right? And so that's just like a perfect picture of like, even in friendship, where sometimes you're going to have to hold your friends up. And they're going to feel like they're in the slummiest of slums. But it's coming alongside of them to go, I'm here. Even if you're going through your own stuff. Right? Like so that is where like, you could be going through your own stuff, but still to show up for your friend in whatever capacity that you can. Right?
Yeah. And sometimes you can be a better friend, and sometimes, you're in that season where someone's got to be a friend to you, and that's okay. But I think no one's perfect. I'm sure I've probably colossally let some of my friends out in so many ways. Maybe you have as well. And that's okay, but it's like just to try your best. And really just the point of the conversation was people asking us like, how do you have, I'm a woman, I'm struggling, I want to have good friendships. These are just some maybe tips that we found that can help you get friendships. It's by no means, again, like the perfect formula. We're not perfect people. We're not perfect friends. But definitely, if you're struggling that way, like being a generous friend, like, and I don't even mean monetary, like generous with your time, your emotions, your encouragement, your grace, your forgiveness. Be a generous friend. And I think you would be surprised at how beautiful you see relationships turn into.
Absolutely. And well, this has been a good conversation.
It has been good.
I like it.
Yeah.
I think it's an important one. And I think we address some things. And if you guys have any questions about friendship, even more on anything we've touched, reach out, ask us.
Or suggestions of your own, of like how you were able to, maybe if you were somebody who struggled with friendships and then you were able to build friendships, like how did you do that?
How did you do that? Exactly. We love story. We love a good story around here.
That's true.
So send us your story. But thanks, guys. It was a great day. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.